Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Monday, January 23rd, OG Monday edition of the show. That means it's Ian Cameron, it's Skee, it's Dutch, it's Wham. It's the original crew with you, ready to break down the Monday card. Let's get right to it. We've got 7 games tonight, a little lighter Monday slate than normal. We'll start in Orlando, O-Town, Boston, Orlando. We've got the Boston Celtics, 7.5, 8-point road favorites, 229.5 is pretty much the consensus with the total right now in this game. The Boston Celtics, of course, 35-12 on the season, playing some excellent basketball. What is it now? 9 straight wins for the Celtics coming into this matchup here against Orlando. They beat Toronto on Saturday, 106-104, looking to keep the winning ways going tonight in Orlando against this Magic team, who have lost 3 of their last 4 games. They've had a really tough schedule. If you go back to January 7th, started a 5-game road trip out west, Golden State, Sacramento, Portland, Utah, Denver, come back home for 1 game against the Pelicans, where they did get the job done with a win against the New Orleans Pelicans in that game. And then they followed it up with getting trounced by 20 on the road against Washington, although that was a back-to-back situation for the Magic that night. They'll look to a rebound. Magic of late, you notice one thing I've picked up on is scoring the basketball well, and last few games, though, defensively not as good, trending over the total here, Orlando, in the last 3 games going into this game against Boston. Celtics, meanwhile, again, continuing to roll, get the job done. Orlando, though, has given this team some trouble. I mean, 3 meetings between the Magic and the Celtics this year. Orlando's covered all 3. 3-0 ATS for the Magic. A 6-point win for Boston here in Orlando back in October. And then Orlando beat them twice in a row in Boston. It was shocking as double-digit dogs in both of those games. Remember, that's when Orlando was red hot. And back when I was like basically betting on them every single game during that time in December. I don't know. I kind of think this is a lot of points to be laying with Boston. But, man, after losing 2 in a row to them back in December, this will be the first meeting since then. This may not be the best time to step in front of the Celtics. That being said, they've been a little hit or miss when they've been bigger favorites. So kind of still lean Orlando here in this game, but not maybe as gung-ho to back them, maybe as I was in the previous meetings when I thought they were really in a good spot, getting a lot of points, playing some great ball. It is worth noting still from a Orlando perspective, you look at the lineup going into tonight's game, still it looks like getting healthier, which is good. And on the Boston side, Marcus Smart out, Malcolm Brogdon out, and Robert Williams, a game-time decision with the knee issue. So I think there's reasons to think Orlando, 3 straight covers against Boston, maybe can hang in and be competitive again. And I would lean that way. Skee, what do you think here, Boston, Orlando?
I like Jason Tatum over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. He's cashed it in his last 6 games. Probably have to make a little bit more and create for everybody else with no Brogdon, no Smart. And we'll see if Robert Williams is out there. But I think there's going to be plenty of rebounds to be had. Orlando is the bottom 5 rebounding team the last 5 games. So I like Tatum over his rebounds plus assists.
All right, liking the Tatum props here in this one. By the way, the Toronto game in particular, I remember that game on the weekend. Remember, life and death they were to win that game against the struggling Raptors. So it's another concern if you're going to lay this many points here with Boston against this Orlando team who've played them tough all season. Dutch, what do you think here? Celtics Magic.
Yeah, man. Salute to the lady gents and D gents for tuning in. You already know it's all love. Hey, real quick, be sure to hit that motherfucking like button like I'm hitting this plane. A GMO cross with the motherfucking King's cake. Get you right where you need to be. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, this the heater right here. It's the motherfucking heater. Shout out to Nasty Nate, Zachary, Nets Bets in the motherfucking building. Champagne OG. I see you, my guy. Let's get to it, man. I believe this is an Orlando Magic spot. I don't really like to fade the green, but we might have to do it today on the Medicaid motherfucking Monday. +8 looks pretty good to me. They obviously played up to it. Bobano gave us a lot into that. But also I look at that the Celtics are going to South Beach tomorrow. They got MIA on deck. Are they really, I know they lost to these 2 boys earlier, but are they really sweating the Orlando Magic? They aren't suiting up Marcus. They aren't suiting up Brogdon. And the Magic are coming off a 20-point loss to the Wizards. So I believe this could be a competitive spot for the Orlando Magic. Not something like I just want to run and just line up and bet on a shittier team. But at this point, +8 does seem pretty appealing to me. They are 5-0 ATS after a straight-up loss. They do play up to their competition as well. They're 5-0 ATS last 5 versus a team with a winning record above 60%. So I look for them to continue to trend here, play up to like they have against Boston. I know Boston they haven't beat them all 3 times. Boston did beat them once. So like I said, I don't really feel like they're too worried about the Magic. Maybe focusing a little bit on my MIA on deck. So I strongly to the Magic +8.
All right, Wham.
Yeah, man. I say Jonathan Isaac is going to play today. Jonathan, who? How long have we seen him? We
even still play for that team?
Shit. Like,
7 years.
What is that about, bro? But yeah, man, like we ain't seen him in a long time. The away team has won 6 of the last 7 meetings, so I expect Boston to win this game. Come on, bro. They're gonna win this game. We know that. Are they gonna cover? I think they are. The last back-to-back losses that they had outright with this Orlando team, I think they remember that, bro. Come on now. I agree with you, Nasty Nate, today. I know my boy LJ hit the stat 13-3-1 as an underdog of 7 or more points the Magic are, but I don't really try to mean anything today, bro. I think they're gonna whoop their ass today. It's probably a bleed green spot. Y'all know how I do, bro. But I'm gonna stay away from the actual side here. I like what I'm hearing from Skee on the prop there, but I haven't bet anything in this game. But I do agree with my boy Nasty Nate. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a trifecta spot for sure.
Celtics here to take care of business here against Orlando. See, that's the one thing I am concerned about with the Magic spot tonight, and looking at them plus the points is that Boston knows the last time two times they played them, both in Boston, they were on the losing end, and might come out with a little extra purpose here tonight. We'll see if that is enough, though, to win by margin. All right, Milwaukee, Detroit. We've got the Bucks 11-point road favorites, 237. This total's been hammered up. I mean, just absolutely being destroyed. This total way up. It's going in terms of the over in this game. And if you look at it from a Pistons perspective, you can understand why. I mean, this team hasn't defended, for the better part of really since 2023 started. I mean, they're giving up 135s, 120s, 140s. I mean, just awful on the defensive end of the floor. So I get people liking over the total a little bit here in this game. Milwaukee's certainly capable of hanging a big number here on the Pistons tonight, especially when you look at it. It appears that they're going to have all hands on deck for this game. Giannis will play for the Bucks here tonight. Keep in mind the Pistons very much a banged-up team right now as well. That's probably contributed to all the struggles of late. They have gone 1-6 straight up, 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. The last couple in particular were double-digit blowout losses against the Knicks and the Bulls. And that's another thing you want to factor in, too. Yeah, they've had 3 days off, but they're coming back from Paris, en français, coming back from that international game, the Pistons, rather, that they played against the Chicago Bulls on Friday. So, or Thursday, rather. How are they going to fare from that little jet lag? You do worry about that when you're coming back from overseas, over in Europe, across the pond. So I don't know, but I don't want to lay 11 with the Bucks. I mean, they're still a losing team straight up in ATS on the road this year, but I don't know if I can back the Pistons, banged up, playing no defense. Maybe a Bucks team total over. That might be the best approach here. What do you think here, Skee? Bucks, Pistons?
It's a backwood for me.
All right. Yeah.
I love it. Nothing more needs to be added than that. All right, Dutch, what do you think here? Bucks and Pistons. Oh, he's muted.
That's what came back with it. God damn it! This is the rotation. Vic, don't fuck up the rotation. Don't pass this bullshit to me. Back with this motherfucker.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Wham.
Fuck this basketball game. Back with it.
All right. Yeah.
There we go. Nice and simple. Everybody giving this the old backwood, except me.
I
although
just had to
don't know
play. I
about
just had
that.
to play that. I'm sorry, but I am on a prop in this game, though.
I was like, wait, am I tripping?
Look, I had to use that sound effect, though. But I'm on the count of 28.5 points. It's a subpar team asking a above average player to go over his average. I mean, to hit his average at 31.5 is what he's been averaging over the last 7 games. So give me Giannis. I know he's coming back. I know they have Middleton coming back. And maybe a situation where Middleton takes up or be petty against his old team in the Pistons. I doubt it. I think it's going to be a Giannis night. Give me Giannis. They altering big men's out there for the Pistons. They got Jalen Durant. I think a lot of people like him today, but I think it's going to be still outnumbered by the Bucks, having all their strength there. Give me Giannis to hit his average today. Give me over the 28.5 points.
All right, there we go. Giannis over his points there for Wham Bam in this one. All right, Wolves and Rockets now. Minnesota, Houston. Minnesota 5.5-point road favorites, 234 the total in this game. You've got obviously the very erratic, as we've said all along, Timberwolves. They've been really banged up, though. Keep that in mind. They've had a lot of injuries. I was absolutely stunned, and it was a bad loss, I know, for Toronto when they lost to Minnesota last, I believe it was Thursday. And like I said, the Timberwolves just had a ton of people out. They did win that game, though. Give them credit. And then they beat Houston 113-104 at home on Saturday. And now the same two teams, home and home, back into the home and home series here in Houston tonight. The Rockets, man, I mean, how do you back this team? How? I mean, they've lost 10 in a row. They've covered just one time in those last 10 games. I know it's definitely Houston back home revenge spot, but no, the Houston's just not showing me enough. Minnesota's actually really controlled this series. If you go back to January of last season, if you go back even further to the beginning of last season, October 2021, we've seen 6 head-to-head meetings. Minnesota's won all 6. And the only cover for Houston, they were 13.5-point dogs. They lost by 7 to Minnesota in that game, so they covered. But guess what? If Houston loses by 7 tonight, that's not going to cover the number for you if you're going to back the Rockets here in this one. Now, I get it. There's a lot of injury concerns for the Wolves. Karl Anthony Towns out again. It looks like Gobert game-time decision. Bryn Forbes game-time decision for them. It looks like on the Houston side, KPJ is out. And Jabari Smith, Wham Bam's guy, is questionable right now with an ankle injury. So, yeah, it's still Minnesota or pass. I'm not backing Houston. And if anything, they've consistently beaten Houston by margin. And I think I might lay the points with Minnesota if they even have one of these two guys playing tonight, Gobert or Forbes, and even if not, I'm definitely leaning toward Minnesota a little bit. Again, 6 straight wins over Houston, and all of them by more than this point spread. So they've dominated the Rockets. Skee, what do you think here? Rockets hosting the Timberwolves.
Şengün over 5.5 assists. He's hit it the last 6 games. The last 5 games, they've been playing without KPJ. They're just running the offense through Şengün. Minnesota allows the most assists to center position. So Şengün over 5.5 assists.
There you go. Left my wallet in El Şengundo. They're right there. Over assists for Skee Profit in this. All right, Dutch, Rockets, Wolves.
It's like we just press the ski button and he just pushes out a prop. I get it. My guy. AOD, I see you, my guy. Mo Harris wants to know what you're sipping on over there, Wham Bam.
I can't tell you, bro. You got to keep it on the low, man. We got.
It's cute. Okay.
No sponsorship. We can't make them famous, bro. We're gonna keep it on the low, bro.
My guy. Rez Mob, I see you, my man. Yeah, this game. I ain't gonna lie to you. I forgot about what game we're talking about. Let me see.
Minnesota, Houston.
Yeah. let me get it back on the screen. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I like Minnesota here, but the thing is, man, they played these boys the other day. I think Bobano touched on that. That's going to keep me off of it. But they beat these motherfuckers 7 straight times. Come on now, right? Bobano says, 7 straight, I believe. So I think it's Minnesota or nothing. Let's see who's suiting up. But, yeah, the only thing keeping me off this game is that they just played these boys on Saturday.
All right, there we go. All right, Wham, what do you think?
Yeah, and that boy, Ant Edwards dropped 44 points on him last game, man. It's like, what we expect to happen in this game? I think they set the number at his average over the last 6 games as far as Ant Edwards averaging 27 points over those bands. He's at 26.5, juice to minus 135. I don't want to take the Ant Edwards prop, but that's probably the way I'll be looking on anything on the Timberwolves side. But I'm right there with you, Skee, bro. I took the LP over 5.5 assists. It's kind of weird, bro. I was talking to a lot of our friends earlier with capping. It's kind of weird how this triple-double is being dropped so dramatically, and his assist prop is so low, and he's hit this assist prop, countless times. I believe it's been 6 straight times. So I like the LP over 5.5 assists with Skee, and that's the only bet in this game.
All right, next. All right, good stuff. So it looks like a Alperen Şengundo type of night here in this Minnesota and Houston game for both Wham and Skee with the assists. All right, Atlanta, Chicago. The Bulls 1-point home favorites, 239.5 the total in this game. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks are trying to bounce back after a 4-point loss to the Charlotte Hornets on Friday night, or actually that was Thursday night. It was Saturday night. Yeah, 21st, Saturday night. It was back-to-back. They were at home against the Knicks the night before on Friday, and they won that game 139-124. And then they had a back-to-back, tough spot. I get it. You shouldn't lose to Charlotte, but even on a back-to-back, but they did 122-118. As far as this game goes, I like the over. I think the total going up makes all the sense in the world to me. 237 up to 239.5. Atlanta is scoring a ton the last two of the last three games in particular. I mean, they go back to the Miami game on Martin Luther King Day a week ago today. They shot 45 of 76, 121 against a pretty solid defensive team. 130 against Dallas, 139 against New York. Charlotte, they get 118. They give up 122, but they're also giving up points too these last few games. So I think the over is the best way to play it. As far as the side goes, I'm not laying points with Chicago in this spot. They're off the Paris-France game. We talked about it. Tough turnaround, long travel back from Europe, from France, all the way back to the U.S., playing at Thursday afternoon against Detroit, coming back from that jet lag. You just wonder where this team's going to be, where their legs are going to be tonight, so to speak, coming back from that trip and playing this first game back from that very, very long getaway to Paris. So that's not something I'm looking at with Chicago. And Atlanta is playing a little bit better lately. I mean, I excuse them a little bit for losing to Charlotte. It was back-to-back, kind of a tricky spot. But I would take Atlanta before Chicago. But the bet I like the most here is points, and more points over 239.5. Skee, what do you think here, Atlanta, Chicago?
Yeah, Billy Donovan's already said they want to, play more through Vucevic, and you're going to continue to see him rack up his assists because of it. So I'm looking at his rebounds plus assists tonight over 14.5. He's cashed 9 of the last 10 games. Hawks are a bottom 10 rebounding team the last 5 games. So I like him to continue that tonight. Vucevic over 14.5 rebounds plus assists.
All right, there you go. Vucevic, rebounds and assists for Skee. Dutch, how about you? Hawks, Bulls.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy Mike in. Pimp slap play of the motherfucking day. I see you, my dude. Mean Green Picks in the building. Tone Miggs. Billy Briz. Catch him here with me tomorrow. Star Child. I see you, my man. LJ, as always. Yeah, this is a tough game right here. This one I think is the best game best basketball game on the card. I don't know if it's the best game to bet on. I think it's sharp as fuck, to be quite honest with you. These last 2 games have been decided by 3 points total. Last 4 games, 14 points total. So I do think it's pretty sharp here. I do think the edges to Atlanta, basically based off of them coming off a loss to a team they know they're better than. They have been playing better basketball, and they are a lot healthier than we've seen of late. So not to mention, obviously, a big travel spot. How is it going to affect Chicago? So to me, most signs do point to Atlanta. But I do think Chicago obviously could win this basketball game. So I do want to sit back, kick back, and watch this game, soak in the knowledge. But I don't know if I'll bet this basketball game.
All right, nothing wrong with that. All right, Wham, Atlanta, Chicago.
Yeah, I'm right there with you again, man. Big Vooch, bro. He said it, and we're going to just have to keep crashing it. They playing through him. He's doing a lot of the screen and roll opportunities and, responsibilities there. And as far as I do like, and I want to get close to the DeMar DeRozan over, I believe it's 4.5 assists. I think he's hit that in quite a few times, and I believe he hit that every time against the Hawks as a Bull as well. So I do like that look a lot as well with the DeMar DeRozan assist. But Vooch over 14.5 points. I'm sorry, rebounds and assists is what I got in on with Skee is there. Minus 120 is what I got it at. Other than that, I do like the Bulls here in this spot too. The only reason why I do like the Bulls is obviously because they're at the house and the Hawks are on the road. So I kind of probably be a little bit recency bias there because obviously we know the Bulls aren't really good against good teams. And I'm not calling the Hawks a good team, but they do have a backcourt that's kind of dynamic. So I could see them being able to take advantage of this backcourt here in the Bulls. So that being said, I'm not going to be on the side, but I am on that Vucevic over 14.5 rebounds and assists.
All right, Charlotte, Utah. We've got Utah big favorites here, 8-point home favorites, 240 the total in this one. I mean, side, whoever wants to bet the side, you can have it. I mean, I'm not really rushing to bet Charlotte, although they have won outright as underdogs against Atlanta, and then they did have a win and cover at Houston. But Do I fully trust them here with Utah? Utah's capable, but I don't want to lay this many with Utah either. Talking about laying 8 points. They lost 117 to 106 in their last game against Brooklyn on Friday night. We'll see if they can bounce back from that here in this game. Looks like from a Utah standpoint, Kelly Olynyk out, but everybody else looks like they're available tonight. LaMelo Ball, game time decision here with an ankle/wrist injury for Charlotte. So keep an eye on that. Same with Cody Martin. He's doubtful, actually, with a knee injury, so he probably won't go, and they've still got Kelly Oubre out. So LaMelo Ball's stat is certainly important when it comes to this game from a Charlotte standpoint. I do have the over circled. I mean, certainly from a total standpoint, it's a high number, but I mean, certainly could make a case that it could go well into the 240s between these two teams. Utah pushes the ball up and down the court. They're actually top 5 offensive efficiency as well, the Jazz this season. Charlotte's going to push it as well. They don't play very good defense, so definitely have this pegged to be an over bet. Just waiting to see if we have LaMelo in the lineup for the Hornets in this game. What do you think here, Skee? Hornets and Jazz?
Hornets, bottom 10 rebounding team the last 5 games. You still have a Jazz team without Kelly Olynyk. And the last 4 games without him, Markkanen has had 10-plus rebounds in each game. So I expect him to do it again tonight. Larry Markkanen over 9.5 rebounds.
All right, there you go. 10-plus boards for Larry Markkanen here, the Finn for the Utah Jazz. Dutch, what do you think here, Hornets Jazz?
Yeah, man. Good to see our guy Luke Murphy in the building. Chill, Will. I got a little double cross going here with the Kings, Cake, and the GMO. My guy BJ, I see you. This game, Ski, you don't like the Hornets here, bro?
Well, I know one thing. I'm not laying this many points with the Jazz. I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I had to switch up a little bit. You know, we had to get something else out of them, right? No, hey, I know you like the Hornets a lot recently, so I just say, you know, +8 here. I had to think maybe you would look this way, but yeah, man, I don't got nothing on this motherfucking basketball game. Back with this motherfucker.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Wham, Charlotte, Utah.
Yeah, man. Hornets, I think they weak as fuck, bro. So that's why they land this point. They're the worst net rating in the first half over the last 5 games. They only covered once in that span, 1-4 in the last 5 games. The Jazz at the house are 4-1 ATS. They've been ranked 11th in net rating over the last 5 games. So I'm going to go with the first half. I do not expect them to, come out the gate as far as the Hornets, but they may come back. So I think that's what they have been able to do against those teams that Ian mentioned, to make it a little bit grittier. But I don't think he's going to do it early on. So give me the 4.5 with the Jazz -105. That's the bet I make.
All right, we got 2 games left now on this Monday slate. Next up, San Antonio, Portland. The Blazers, 8.5-point home favorites, and another high total, 240.5 here in this game. It looks like, the total's been pretty steady for the most part. Portland coming into this game kind of struggling. 2 wins in their last 10 games, both straight up in ATS, 2-8 in their last 10 games. They got pretty much blown out by margin on their home floor to the Lakers and the Sixers in their last 2 games. I'm not in a rush to lay points with Portland. I'll just say it right now. They're definitely leveling off. Now 4 games below 500. San Antonio, on the other hand, they just keep covering numbers. We've seen them go 7-2 ATS their last 9 games. Saw them beat Brooklyn, although, again, without KD, they've struggled a little bit. They have a competitive loss to the Clippers in their last game on Friday night. They've had 2 days off. Portland's on a back-to-back after that game last night against the Lakers. There's reasons to think, hey, who the hell are we to trust Portland? 8.5, 9-point home favorites in this game. So it'd be Spurs or nothing, and it'll probably move on San Antonio at some point here, 8.5, 9. It just feels like this Portland team, not a team I'm really trusting in this kind of price range right now. And say what you will about the Spurs. We've seen them at least hang tough in recent games. And Devin Vassell looks like he is going to be once again out for the Spurs. He's missed the last 9 for them. Looks like it's going to be 10 in a row for him out due to injury here tonight for them in this game. Skee, what do you think here? Spurs, Blazers.
Yeah, the same way I'm not laying the points with Jazz, I'm not laying these points with the Blazers. I just They don't play enough good defense. They just played last night. I would only back the Spurs or stay away.
All right, I agree with that. I'm going to be moving on the Spurs. I just right now they've been off 2 days. They've been competitive against better teams than Portland, I should point out. So I think 8.5, 9's a little lofty for the Blazers side in this game. Dutch, what do you think here? San Antonio, Portland.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Nunya. Slow jams. I'm right with you right there on that. He says first half and nothing with Portland. I think it's first half here. It's a spot for me. I like. Yeah, the Blazers, man, they ain't been too good of late. You touched on it. But man, they had 71 last night at motherfucking halftime. They had a 45-point second quarter against the Lakers. They was feeling pretty good going into halftime there in P-Town last night. And then it all went, bull ass shit. But yeah, I think Dame Time and the boys, he's a little pumped up over Pat Bev running his mouth. And, that little feud they got. They're going to come out. They're going to put it on San Antonio early. I like the 4.5 minus 115 first half. These two teams did play earlier this season in San Antonio not too long ago. And Portland busted that ass. It was up 11 after 1, 16 at the half. I don't mind the first quarter, but give me first half. Obviously, after what we seen last night, that was the second quarter where they dropped 45. So I'm not going to go away from that. I'll go first half, 4.5. I think they're angry, gave away a game they should have won last night against the Lakers, and they got kind of, they was definitely let known that they gave it away. Back doing this shit, mocking my guy Dame Time. So it will be Dame Time early in offense tonight in P-Town. Fuck the San Antonio Spurs, Portland Trail Blazers, good money.
All right, but liking them in the first half specifically.
First half, yeah. I'll stay away from the big numbers full game. We know Portland can fuck around and give a lot away.
No, we certainly saw that on full display last night. And Portland minus 4.5 if you like them in the first half here. Wham, what do you think here? Spurs Blazers.
Talk that shit, Dutch. I'm feeling exactly the same way, bro. 0-5 ATS in the first half. The San Antonio Spurs, when they're on the road, you're 4-1 over the last 5 games in the first half. As far as the heated, like you said, getting disrespected. They said the clock was broke on Twitter. They said the time, the alarm didn't go off. Come on, man. He knows what's going on. He's on Twitter all the time. He's going back and forth talking about Patrick Beverly today. Dame Time is he's hot today, bro. He hot today. So I'm right there with you with the 4.5 in the first half. I'm right there. Lock that in. That's the way I'm thinking here in this game. Other than that, I agree. I think Babano might be right. They might still cover the full game because he said, some sad shit like, you still want to win after you just go off all these losing streaks. They started off so good. It's just the defense isn't really all the way there. So we'll see what happens, man. Losing to the Lakers like that has to be, definitely gut-wrenching because it's definitely, it's not a great team, but, losing to the Lakers like that is terrible.
It's not good. That's for sure. All right, final game of this Monday slate, Memphis and Sacramento. Sacramento Kings 2.0 favorites now. They were underdogs, but huge move to Sacramento, which means we've got some player personnel developments most likely involving the Memphis Grizzlies. The total now from 243.5 up to 245 in this game. Yeah, it's got to be John Morant. Yep, it is John Morant, questionable. Now, he's not been ruled out, but he's been downgraded to questionable with a left ankle issue for the Grizzlies. So we'll see. And obviously, big deal that is. Of course, Steven Adams as well, questionable with a right knee issue for the Grizzlies. So they could be down their starting center, could be down their starting point guard here in this matchup tonight against the Kings, who are really only missing a depth piece and Chimezi Metu. That's about it. Pretty much healthy otherwise. And look, I mean, we've talked about how Sacramento has been this huge surprise here much of the last all season, really. For them to be 26-19, it's surprising. They've played some really good basketball. They had won 6 in a row prior to having that streak snapped by the Sixers on Saturday night. They lost at home 129-127 in that game. They've been trending over as well. 6-2 in their last 8 games to the over. Memphis, usually a team that's been trending over, but the last 2, not so much against the Lakers and the Suns. And obviously, if John Morant doesn't go, you're going to be losing quite a bit of offense from the equation in this game tonight. Worth noting, Memphis, 5 straight point spread covers, 5-1 straight up, 5-1 against the spread the last 6 meetings against Sacramento. And you start to look at the margin of victory in those games, 10-point win, 15, 25, 19, 27. I mean, Memphis has beaten down this team multiple times. So, yeah, Ja may not go, but series history says the Kings have been owned by the Grizzlies. So probably a game I'm going to end up staying off when it's all said and done. Skee, what do you think here? Grizzlies, Kings?
Yeah, I don't have a strong feel on this game, so I'm not going to waste nobody's time. I'm going to just go ahead and back with it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. I mean, that's do we just all of a sudden take Sacramento because Jaw's out? Because let's be honest, they also have faced, this little run that they've put together. It's been nice, but come on. I mean, Houston twice, San Antonio, the Lakers, OKC. I mean, those have been the victories. I mean, they've been feasting on the weak a little bit too. As much as Sacramento has been a nice story this year with how much they've improved, they have fattened up on a pretty light schedule of late. What do you think here, Dutch? Memphis, Sacktown.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Cashville. Have said they have lost 3 straight. The Grizz. I got Mo Harris liking the Kings. I really liked the Grizzlies last night when I looked at this, and I was just like, man, it's the NBA, so you have to hesitate. You can't just automatically press a button because I thought this could happen, but after losing to the Lakers like that, and then with all that bullshit going on with Shannon and them, and then they lose to the Suns the other night, I was like, man, I think first half here Grizzlies full game as well. I was liking the Grizzlies here, but now without Ja, without Adams, well, at least the questionable, I'm definitely not looking that way. I do think personally, you touched on it, Bobano, they're too big, or you touched on how well they played against them recently, and in my opinion, it's because they're too big. Obviously, they have Morant, who's pretty better than De'Aaron Fox, So you just have Morant, you have bigger guys that can pretty much just battle and punk around Sabonis, who's going to do his thing, but eventually he's just going to get beat around by Adams and them two bigs down below. So I could still maybe look the Grizzlies here, but without their leader Ja, and then obviously without their big Adams, who's been playing real big this year. There's no way I could look at this game. So a tough basketball game. But I was really looking forward to getting on the Grizzlies with Ja out there.
Yep. And yeah, exactly. Now you got to pull back the reins a little bit. Welcome to NBA handicapping and betting. Yeah, you always have to do that with the lineup changes that happen. Never mind day to day and minute to minute, hour to hour.
Especially on a back-to-back. It's like fucking double bad.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think here, Wham? Final game, Memphis, Sacramento.
Yeah, I was looking into Ja and obviously the Memphis Grizzlies first half before the information. So, obviously if he's in, it's going to be a different situation for the first half of Memphis than if he's out. So I don't want to, say anything there. I kind of feel like, Skee, I'm wasting you guys' time because we don't know what's going to happen here. Same NBA fuckery game of the week, game of the day, I would say. But for sure, if he is out and also Steven Adams is ruled questionable as well. So if he's out, and maybe some good props for, Brandon Clark or maybe JJJ. So we'll have to look in for those. Other than that, this is definitely a backward. So I'm going to play my sound effect for Dutch.
Fuck this basketball game backwards.
It's only right.
All right.
There we go. We ended on a backwood. Yeah, there's a couple of those. It's a very odd card. There's a lot of lineup issues throughout the board today. So a little tricky card. You got to watch the minefield today, definitely when it comes to this NBA slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's go run it up. 249 live viewers. Hit that like button. We appreciate it very much. Become a Pub Sports Radio Pub Club YouTube channel member for just $4.99 a month. 18 cents a day. Again, if you want all kinds of perks and incentives and lots of more cool shit to happen, maybe then become a Pub Sports Radio YouTube member. Just $4.99 a month for that. We will wrap up the show. We got best bets, Dutch's freshest look coming right up, right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101, and manscaped.com. Promo code PubSports, 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com, promo code PubSports. All right, best bets, Dutch's freshest look to wrap this show up for an OG Monday edition of the NBA Pub Hub. Skee, what do you got for best bet?
I'll go with Marketing over his 9.5 rebounds until Olynyk is back in the lineup. We'll continue to rock with it.
All right, there we go. Liking the prop there for Skee with his best bet for Monday. Dutch, freshest look.
Yeah, man. Freshest look. We're going to P-Town in this rip motherfucking city. We're going in and out real quick, real easy. First half, -4.5. It's good money.
There you go. Portland Trailblazers -4.5 against San Antonio. First half, freshest look for Dutch. All right, Wham, best bet.
Yeah, best bet for me is going to be Utah Jazz in the first half, -4.5 as well. 4-1 ATS in the first half at the house. Bottom 5 net rate. I'm sorry, dead last net rating in the first half for the Hornets. So give me the first half early with the Jazz, man.
All right, there you go. First half, Utah Jazz against Charlotte for Wham with his best bet. Mine is going to be, there's only one bet that of the ones I've only locked in a couple, and then there's one that's a little bit bigger than the rest, and it's the only sizable one I've made so far on the board. So we got to go with it for best bet, and that's Atlanta, Chicago, over 239. I like that total. Hawks are scoring a bunch. Murray's been great lately. The guard platoon has been good. I don't trust Chicago to bring it energy. You got to have energy to play defense. And look, they're not a great defensive team. They're coming back from the road trip. Could see them really having a tough time keeping up. Atlanta will probably push the pace even more because of that. I mean, I think you're going to see points in that game. Totals went up. I agree with it. Atlanta, Chicago, over 239. For my best bet for this Monday card. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. Reminder, the show again back tomorrow, Tuesday. And look, there's more games than usual on a Tuesday. In fact, there's 7 games tonight. There's 7 tomorrow. And 7 games on a Tuesday is more than normal. So make sure you're tuning in again tomorrow right here on the NBA Pub Up. Dutch will be hosting along with Durrell and Billy Briz tomorrow. So make sure you join them for the NBA Pub Up. I'll be back at the top of the hour with Connor Mack for college basketball. So make sure you join us for that. For Wham, for Skee, for Dutch, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you again tomorrow. NBA Pub Up right here on Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. Salute to the real ones holding us down. AOD, Nasty, Nate, Slow Jams, Saturated, Star Child, Gerald Jones. Yo, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the motherfucking video. Yo, stay fresh, stay blessed. Let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.